Alright, here's part 2 of the Earthree Gundam review. And in part 2 we will be seeing about the Earth's armor pack, and then we'll show and the docking sequence or slash combination sequence regarding with the Core Gundam itself. Now currently I took off one side of the arm and the hands because to just make things more easier, and you do need to take off the hands anyway, and I just wanted to mention why it's much more easier or better to take off the arms right away. Okay. So, and before I actually start, there's one part I forgot to mention, is that there's one more leftover piece, and this is that leftover piece. Now, this one is mostly meant for the Earthree Gundam, but basically, when the Earthree Gundam is made, and then when the beam sabers are up like this, you are supposed to use the backpack, but if you don't want to use that backpack and add more attachments, like some extra option parts, this is what you use, and all you need to do is basically connect the backpack like this, and you're good to go. And regarding one more part is that you can actually take this part off, and then remember that part that that allows you to store the shield. You can attach it on here, and once again, you can use it to attach extra parts. Now the white part itself does not attach to the Core Gundam itself, so keep that in mind. And the piece, even the peg, does not really fit in. Okay, so since we're there, now let's get on to the review. Okay, so here we have the Earth armor. Now that's just really how it's mentioned in the manual, and here we actually get a stand with it. Now for those who are wondering, oh, so is this like all the armor parts combined into one? Yes and no. This is technically a parts former, like one of those old HG Delta Gundam, for example. You actually have a block, and then on the block you attach all of these stuff, and which I prefer this way because that pretty much guarantees a more stronger connection and more stable. It makes it more stable. So here we have, and as I mentioned before, the front green section is a sticker, and there are some parts I would like to mention that to be a little bit, be careful when you're taking it apart. So first of all, we're just going to take off the front part. So this blue section is one of those parts I would like to mention. Now currently I already loosened it up, but when you actually attach it in there entirely, it may be a little bit too hard to get out, so just be careful when you're taking it out. Just don't try to force it out, just try to pry it out or with a knife or something, because these are one of those pieces that are very fragile, and this is actually the part that goes on top of the V-fin, so keep that in mind. And here we have, I'm just going to take off the stuff that are easy. This is the front section of the beam rifle, and then this part that I'm just pulling out. Yeah, these ones actually just slide in. These are the shoulder sections for the Earthree Gundam. And then here we have the backpack. Yep, oops, sorry about that. Here we have the backpack. And then here we have the arm extensions. Yeah, this is the arm parts, and so that, which means the bottom section right over here is where you put the hands. Okay, and then here we have the back skirt. So most of these parts are pretty much self-explanatory, so they're pretty much obvious what they are when you think about it. So here we have the legs. So when you have to prepare the legs, you have to flip this up, forward, and there we go. So the way how the feet works is that there's a ball joint, and then the joint is in an L shape, and the front section has a polycap, so which is why we have this nice pivot movement going on here. And I believe this section also rotates on its own, but does not move at all. It doesn't move backward forward. So keep that in mind. And there's no actual left or right differences for this one, so you can pretty much use them on any direction you want to do so. So we get the legs ready, and here we have the shield extension part. And then now another one, and this part is actually pretty tricky as well. So what I did, so now mine's coming out easy, and you can see that part is chipped off. Now that I did that on purpose, because when I first had it, it was really stuck to the point where they were actually getting, now not on this side, but on the other side, I was getting stress marks around here. You can see that white stress mark over there. So instead of breaking the entire thing, I just chipped off the end section. Sure, I could have just sanded it down or maybe applied oil, but I'm just too lazy, and I just wanted to have a guaranteed thing. So once again, I did that. And these are the front skirts, believe it or not. And then here we have these blue sections that are on the back section on the vehicle right over here. Now these are the hand guards, believe it or not. So these are extra armor parts that you put on the hands, which I was pretty surprised to see. And we're almost done. Now we have these blue sections that are actually meant for the chest, but what you need to do is basically you have to take off these top sections, take them off, and then pull these out to the side. Now currently attaching these to this block of armor is not easy as you think, which is why when you're doing it on the Core Gundam itself, it's best to have the arms off just to make your life easier. And we're done. This is the main base core block of the armor holding piece. So to some people this may look ugly or some may not like this, but trust me, it's much more better to have something like this. So okay, we have a buttload of stuff, so we'll start from the beginning. So what the manual originally tells you to do is take off the hands and then flip these sections, flip the feet 90 degrees, and then pull the beam sabers upwards like this. Now, I will mention like the parts that you have to be careful or be aware of, so no need to worry about that. And yeah, let's get started. So basically, I'm going to go with the chest first. So what you're supposed to do is that you have to pull out the arm like this, so you can see the extension. Oh, actually, when I pulled the arm out, I think it might have been a smart move to done this first. So you pull them out to the side. And then the reason why I told you to pull off the arm is that, oh, that was close. You need to do this. You have to attach these armor parts to the side like this. But having with the arm itself is not easy because there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way like this. I don't know how the manual tells you to do it, but I'm going to say it's not impossible, but it's just a little bit tricky. So I'm just going to pull out the arm first, again, and then reattach it. So I'm going to attach it to the chest, and this pretty much makes the blue chest. And then at the end, you have, like what you did on the armor block, you have to reattach these armor parts to the side, or on top of them. What this does is that, as far as I can tell, is that the parts that moves inside, it locks them into place to the outward, so it doesn't really go back in. So that's actually pretty clever. And then let's attach the backpack at the moment, because the backpack was the part which I was kind of getting a little bit confused. But here's what you do. So we have a peg right over here, and then we have that. I believe so. You have to attach it like this, but keep in mind the beam saber, the position is very important. So it has to be a little bit to the front. So if it has to be at a certain angle, so if it's not on a certain angle, it will not connect. So, okay. So, yeah, there we go. I think I got it on the correct angle, and I think the thruster part did fall off, but that's not supposed to happen. I didn't have this issue when I did this the first time, but I guess it would be much more easier to reattach it right like this. So just be aware of the beam saber positions when you're attaching the backpack. Okay, we're done right here. Now let's go with the arms, just for the sake of it. Okay, so for the arms, you get these parts, which I mentioned are the arms. You just need to, so there's a ball joint inside, ball joint connecting here, and just pretty much connect it. Now they might, when I first did this, they did give me a click noise, but when it's connected, it's connected. So no need to worry about it being loose. And then here we get the hand, and on the outside of the hand, you attach the hand guards like this. Yeah, kind of unnecessary, but yeah. So we have the arms like this. So what you do is you pretty much do the same thing onto the other stuff. Now, I was thinking of maybe half combining this for the sake of it, but I feel like most of you would like to see how this thing works as a whole kit. So just bear with me. So you just reattach, and here you go, you can attach. Now there's these holes around the arms. They don't really have a purpose on the kit itself, so my guess is that these are pretty much for option parts. So I'm just gonna reattach the arms now. There we go. We're almost there. Now, funny, it's really impressive to see like these extra extensions make the arm look, average, like make it look like they're average length at this point. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with the back skirt. Actually, I suggest you put the back skirt first before the backpack. I kind of messed up, but all you need to do, there's a hole there, peg there. It's not rocket science. Just attach there, and you're good to go. And yeah. And what for the front skirt, you have to flip this up 90 degrees up front, and then all you need to do is just pretty much attach the front skirts. Now they have these square holes and there's square pegs. All you need to do is just attach them up front. This is which is why this is the main reason why I decided not to cut them separately, because I feel like it's going to be much more harder without them, because with them being together it's much more easier to like hold on to them as well. So we have the front skirt completed. There's no actual side skirt, so no need to worry about that. And then this section of the legs. So despite the ball joint being a little bit stiff, it doesn't really matter. Well, granted, you might need to move the ball joint a little bit, but once you flip up the feet, there's a square hole and there's a square peg. All you need to do is connect them. Of course, getting this was kind of tricky at first, because I didn't really understood the way how you're supposed to do it. But all you need to do is just pretty much work your way around, and it connects like that. There you go. It connects, and all you need to do is do it the other way around. So yeah. So at first it may not be easy for the legs. So for me, the legs were pretty much the tricky part, but the more I fiddled it around, and it did work eventually. So I think I got it. There we go, connected, and we're almost there. So here's the shoulders. Now the shoulder, to me, when I first got this kit, or when I first saw the promotion, my biggest concern was that is all these extra parts going to be loose? And so far, the arms, the leg, nothing is loose at this point. But if I have to mention if there is kind of a loose part, it will be the shoulders. Now they're not loose to the point where they would fall off on their own. So what you do is just you have these square areas here. You just need to slide them into the side, and there you go. Now as you can see, they're not loose at all. I mean, they're not falling on their own, so it's not loose, but it just feels like I wish it would have a much more firm connection like the others. Like this one, you just slide it in and it's just pretty much there. And finally, on the head, we attach that extra blue fin on the head. So if you see behind the V fin, there's actually 2 square holes over there. Yeah, that's just where you just plug it in like that. And there you go. We have the Earthree Gundam completed at this moment. Okay, so what's left is the shield and the beam rifle. So what you do with the shield is that you get the shield, and then you have these 2 pegs, round pegs, and there's these 2 holes. All you need to do is just pretty much connect them. And at part 1, I think I mentioned that this peg has a different purpose other than the handle. I was mistaken. I was confused with this part, but yeah, here we have another. This is the last sticker. The green section here, and yeah, and the front section moves like this, and all you need to do is pretty much just attach the shield handle onto the arm or something like that, basically. So I suggest that you do it something like this at first. Just attach it here. Now because of that handle, the hand can be separated from time to time, so just be aware of that. And for the hand, or I mean for the beam rifle, all you need to do is just pretty much slide it up. Oh, was it this side? Yeah, I think it's this side, but yeah, it just slides in. Now when you slide it in, it may not feel too comfortable, but this is how it works. Like it just slides in, but not like a clicking noise. It just slides in a little bit, not too smoothly, but it works. And here we have the beam rifle. Now this is the normal mode of the beam rifle, but there's this other move. If you saw episode, I think it was 1 or 2, but one of those episodes, these sections you can, so these are on the peg. You just need to take it out and then just reattach it to the outside, and you can make it look like it's opened up. Attach the handle to the hand, obviously, and then this is where there's a function on the shield happens. So kind of like how the Star Build Strike does. So you have this peg right over here that's in front of the shield, and there's a hole on the other side, on the side of the gun. There's another one on the side, so if you want to do it on the other arm, I guess it's possible. You can attach these 2 on, and then flip up. You can flip or close down the white shield, because this is how it was done in the anime. And then you can do its powerful move where it does like a charge shot kind of thing going on, and it works pretty well. Of course, I really don't like the shield handle section, so I wish they have done it in a more different design. But oh well, I can't be too picky about that section. And yeah, that works pretty well. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. And now yeah, that's pretty much it for the docking sequence. So yeah, I've shown you guys just the extra weapon section. So part 3, I'll be pretty much talking about the articulation regarding the Earthree Gundam itself. Alright, so yeah, hopefully the docking sequence, the way how I filmed it, pretty much helped you guys out to understand how everything is. Now, I would like to mention, despite how this thing looks, nothing is really loose. The only thing that I could consider maybe loose would be the shoulders, but you can see they're not falling off on their own. So it's pretty much stable. It's a very stable kit, even up to this point. So yeah, this was pretty much part 2, and on part 3, I'll be talking about the articulation regarding this kit. So I'll be right back.